The Twin Cities Film Festival continues. I'm your host, Natasha. We are live here on the red carpet. So excited to be here, and we want to thank our sponsors, the Skin Rejuvenation Clinic. Now, the Twin Cities Film Festival is very proud to actually be part of the Tech Film Series, which is a series of 3 films that we'll be showing here at the fest. I'm going to name them off for you. So we've got Big Dream, Documentary, MN, Tyrre, and Generation Startup. So I have Tyrre Burks with me, and why don't you give us kind of your introduction and what you do?
Sure. My name is Tyrre Burks. I'm the CEO of Players Health, and we're a risk management and insurance company specifically focusing on sports organizations, amateur sports. So we created a bunch of applications to help organizations manage injuries, prevent abuse in amateur sports, reporting all of that, and the more they engage in creating a safer environment for their athletes, the cheaper their liability insurance becomes. So that's really our main focus. How can we help create and make sports safer, and then help them with their largest expense, their insurance?
Sure. So you being the CEO, why was it important for you to start up a company like that? Is there a personal connection to it?
That's a great question. Well, before starting Players Health, I was a professional athlete, had a ton of injuries throughout my entire career, and when I retired, had no data on everything that's happening. I have 3 bulging discs in my neck, I tore my hamstring off my tibia, no record of what that looks like. And so I started to look at amateur sport and started to understand that we need to understand what's happening with our kids. Concussion's not the only thing we have to manage, but everything else. And then when you think about what's happening with USA Gymnastics, Penn State, managing abuse and having kind of a abuse prevention plan in place for amateur sports is important. So we created an application to help any athlete, coach, or parent to anonymously or privately report an incident and make sure that they follow a protocol around that. So it's about how can I create an environment that I always wanted when I was growing up.
Sure. It takes a lot of courage to do a startup. I mean, that's a lot, it's a big risk. What were some of the challenges that you faced?
I think me not being a technical founder, so creating an application, taking a product to market, these were all kind of question marks that I had coming out. I'm okay with making mistakes and understanding and learning about that. I think when I first started out, I was okay knowing that I didn't know everything. Luckily, I had some capital saved up, was able to kind of bootstrap my way into raising capital. We've raised a few $1 million now in building our business, and our main focus right now is to kind of build on from that. But that first, I'd say, apprehension I had was around, do I have the chops? Do I know if I could really make this happen? Once you get over that and you understand you're gonna make mistakes, and once you get past that, I think you can do some good things.
So what does the startup world kind of look like in the Twin Cities? Is it growing?
I think it's massively growing. I think one thing I like about startups in Minneapolis in general is that everyone are trying to help each other. It's a collaborative community. We moved here, I moved my company from Chicago to Minneapolis 2 years ago. I was introduced to the founders of Sport Engine, large sports tech company here, walked in, saw a 400-person company selling to amateur sports organizations. Me and my family moved 2 weeks later. And I think the community welcomed me with open arms. Ty, we love your story, we love what you guys are doing in amateur sport. There's a company that made a little money along the way selling the amateur sports, and we believe you guys could be the next. So it was a really great environment for us.
Do you have kind of like a bottom line, one tidbit of advice that you would give somebody out there that might be watching that wants to start their own startup, they have a dream? Is there something you would tell them if they're watching right now?
Sure. I think the most important thing that I learned over time is that, number 1, I was going to make mistakes. Number 2, there is no clock. I have to be patient with my development, with the learning curve. As I continue to learn, I'm going to make mistakes, but learn from those mistakes and continue to build. I think if you're okay with that as a risk factor, understanding that you know these things will happen, and your initial idea is not going to be the idea that takes this thing to the next level. It's going to be iterations of what that looks like. So be okay with being wrong.
Be okay with being wrong. And how can people find out more information about your company?
Sure. So check us out at playershealth.com, Instagram at Players Health, Twitter at Players Health, my Twitter at Tyrre Burks.
All right, we're going to conclude this interview because my arm's starting to hurt. Thanks so much, Tyrre, and congratulations to you.
Thank you.